Hi friends, welcome to Aishusdiy. Today we will do a necklace project with Bargain Bead Box subscription items for the month of September 2021. I have here this mint color roundel beads. It's probably 2 by 3 millimeter, and I also have this DZ beads, this elongated DZ beads. It's nice and big. So I want to create something with the chain and some this as like a bar necklace kind of a thing. For that, I'm going to use some 18 gauge wire and some 20 gauge 26 gauge wire. So that's what I'm going to use. So I have here my pliers, my bent nose pliers, my nylon jaw pliers to straighten, my ruler, my tweezer nose, round nose, and wire cutters. So the basic tools that we need. So that then what I'm going to do is I am going to cut about say 5 inches or so. Okay, I'm going to cut about 5 inches of worth of wire, and then I'm just going to cut about say 4 inch. Okay, so these two lengths are the ones that I want to work with right now. We might need more, but these two are the ones that I want to work with right now. So first I'm going to take this bead. Okay, first I'm going to create a wrap loop here, and then I'm going to attach this wrap loop to this chain. So this is a chain that we got this month, subscription box, and I'm just having the leftovers that I used for the last necklace. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to make 1 2 3. There is a small link and a bigger link in this chain. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure this bigger link, 1 2 3. So for the fourth link, that's where I'm going to add my my wrap loop. So take my 5-inch piece of 18 gauge, make a bend, okay, and make a loop just like so. And I want, before closing this loop, I want this loop to be added to the chain, the fourth big link of the chain. Okay, 1 2 3 4, there we go. And then I am going to hold this and wrap these things. You can also use your pliers to wrap. So once you get about 3 wraps or so, doesn't matter how many wrap you have. So it just depends upon, like 2 or 3 is more than sufficient. And then snip this excess off. You don't need it. And make sure your loop is straight. Mine is a little bit wonky, so I'm just straightening it a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to add a mint roundel green here and a spacer, the daisy spacer from my stash, and then a bicone crystal from the bead box as well. So I'm gonna add all of these, and then I'm gonna add the DZ beads right here. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna add, and I'm checking whether this one is nice, and I don't want a long per se this thing, a long length of pendant. I want only a short length, but I think this will do, or I can even take this off. I added the bicone bead so that it can sit right on top. Let me just see if the roundel sits right on top as well. So it does. So you can stop it right here, basically. Doesn't matter. So let's see. So we have these so far, okay? And then what I'm going to do with this thing is, I have my 26 gauge wire. You need a spool. Like, I'm just going to work with the spool. I'm not going to cut any wire. That way I don't waste it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make a coil around this a short inch, the 4-inch piece that we have with the 18 gauge. I'm just going to make a coil just like so. So you don't have, the coils need to be consistent, so make sure after you wrap it a couple of times, cinch it so that it's right next to each other. So you continue wrapping this until you reach about a length. So I want this to cover this and come like a U. That's what I want. So I'm just going to coil this about here, and then I'll meet you guys back. So I did coil this much. Let me measure exactly how much I have here. The coil portion, it's about 2-inch exactly. So what I am going to do is, I just work with the spool. I didn't cut, as I said. So here we go. I snipped off that excess that tail from the spool, and then tuck it in and work with this one. This is the one we started with, and just kind of coil it a bit, and then you can snip it off at this point. And then tuck the tail in. Make sure everything is nice and cinched. Okay, there we go. And now what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to make a loop. As I said, I want this to come like that, right? So this is a contrast one, and I want it to sit properly. But before that, I want this a spacer, and then I'm just going to make a loop, bend the wire, and I'm not going to make a wrap loop. I'm just going to make a basic loop, but I want the loop to be completely covered. So I just snip it off here. That way I don't want any gaps whatsoever. Okay, just like that. This is gonna come over here, and then I'm gonna go put the actually we don't even need the daisy spacers for that matter. I'm just going to have this right here, all the way here, and then my bicone bead, and then my DC bead. Okay, and I want this to come all the way around just like so. Okay, in a U-shaped font. That's what my design is all about. So, and one more thing I want to do this in this U is some dangles. So for doing the dangles, you can use 24 gauge wire, 26 gauge wire, or you can use head pins, whichever you have available with you, you can use those. I am trying to find some head pins and eye pins. I have some eye pins in antique copper color, but I don't know if I have enough of the ribbons which I really want to work with. So I have some here. These are thin ball head pins that we can use for our project. So I have some. I think that should be good enough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up and dump some down. Okay, so these are thin head pins, and yeah, they're good enough to hold our beads. So I am just going to go ahead and do this, and then take my round nose pliers. I want to take a thinner round nose plier. And then just put a daisy spacer and probably a bicone, because these are the ones that we have, the colors that I'm choosing to use in this. So I'm just going to make this into a loop, bend the wire, cut the wire about here, about an inch, a centimeter. Just leave about a centimeter so that you can make a loop. There we go. Even though this is thin, these head pins are stronger. So we created one dangle. So I want some dangles here, just like so. Okay. And then the next one. I don't want a similar one, so I'm just going to take this, dump some beads here. And you can use any other bead you want in the same color combo. We can use these also. And then the beads that came with this box, that's what I'm trying to use. But if we have something else, so all of these we can use to create our dangles. So this can be all by itself, or it can be with some other spacers and stuff like that. We didn't receive any much spacers or so in this kit, so you will have to use those from your stash. That is one dangle. And then I want this is so pretty. I really like the shape of this. Whenever this comes in for sale, I would like to buy them. This I want to put it on a head pin. Let's see. This is so pretty. And then what I'm going to do with this head pin is I'm just going to make some coils like that. So this is another way of not creating a wrap loop but still having the effect of a wrap loop. You just make coils and coils until you reach the bead, and then I can pop this here under this, or whichever I want. I can pop this here or there, however I please. Now this is going to be just bicone, and I have these daisy spaces available, and I have these bead caps. So I'm gonna use those. And then this one right here, these are the ones that I have. So I'm going to use that. Bend the wire, cut it, and then make a loop, just like so. So I'll make a couple of dangles and come back. Hi friends, welcome back. I created some dangles and kept, and I also cut my chain into two 8-inch length piece. The 8-inch I'm saying is after this short tail that we left here, just 3 big links. After that it is an 8-inch, so I measured the same with that short tail, probably about an inch over this side also. So, and then now what I did was I just added all these dangles that I created like an eye pin, as you can see right here. And then I want to add one more dangle, which is going to be this. Okay, so 5 dangles totally I added. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this off so that it doesn't move that much. So I am just going to take my needle nose pliers or tweezer nose pliers, bend the wire right after the spiral, and snip off the excess wire. We need only about a centimeter or so, and take my round nose pliers. I know everything is coming off, that's okay. Round nose pliers and make a loop. Once you make the loop, all you need to do is take it to this part and then put it inside. So you can tweak it a little bit once you get it in there. So just make sure it faces on the bead side and then that is tight. So this loop is a little bit bigger, so I'm just snipping it off a little bit more and then taking my round nose pliers and then closing this a bit more. Now it's good, and the U form is also good, but I forgot the pike cone, so I just bring all the way here. I remove this link, add a pike cone, and then this loop. Set it down to where we want it to be and add a mint color bead. We don't need 5-inch, but I don't want to take a risk, right? Just make sure everything is in place, and then take your pliers, okay, bend this wire about 90 degrees and make a loop. This is going to be a wrap loop, so we need some space. I'm gonna leave that space, and then here this side of the necklace I added it after 1 2 3 and the 4th link. So I'm gonna go to the same side just like so, and then 1 2 3 and 4. This is the 4th link, which I'm going to add it to this loop, and then hold my loop with my pliers and make wraps. 1 2 and 3. That's good enough. Now go ahead and snip it off. And then adjust your loop if you want to. Tuck your tail in over here. Let me show you guys how this necklace looks like right here. So this is how it looks. Okay. So this is how it looks. And then I'm gonna add some dangles here and also here. So I have this one. I just want to add this in the center, and this one to one of the side, and this this dangle to one of this side, and also the cornelian gemstone over here, and this one right here, and this one right here, and this one right here. So I created all the dangles and kept. All I need to do is attach. So I am going to you can do this before you add it to this and finish it off also. I just didn't want a lot of dangles on my when I'm working the wrap loop and everything. That's why I didn't add it, but you can as well add it in the beginning. It's not a problem. Whichever way you prefer, you add it. So these dangles in the bottom, I created with headpins, and these ones I created with eye pins. So we have a loop on either side to attach our beads and stuff. So this is the second one, which I'm going to add this to this. And then the third one, I am going to add my spiral to it. So the spiral might not sit properly, but we can adjust it. And then we have the cat's eye dangle. I'm going to open that and add this crystal right here and close it. When you open and close a loop, close it as if you are doing a jump ring back and forth, so that you don't distort the shape. So I added all the dangles. So it's just very easy method. It's just putting it together. That's about it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure I have my chain properly, because it's kind of these chains they do kind of knot. So you can actually add a jump ring right here, but normally in a chain there will be an opening that you can use it to add your dangles. So I'm just going to use the opening in the chain, so that I don't want a bigger distraction right there. And if you twist it open, you can actually open this, but I don't see any gap. Doesn't matter, we can use jump rings to do this. So I have here some jump rings to attach my dangle. So I don't want it to be symmetrical. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add this dangle on one side and completely a different spiral dangle on the other, so that I don't want it to be uniform. And even these dangles, I just randomly did all these just to combine all of these beads. I didn't follow a pattern. You can follow a pattern if that's what makes that's a design that speaks to you, or you can just do it like how I did it. It's totally up to you. It's your own design, so you can do it whichever way you want it to be done. So I'm adding the spiral on the other end. Make sure you close the jump ring. I like to use my bent nose pliers and tweezer nose pliers to open and close a jump ring. That's what is kind of easier for me. And this is what our necklace so far is. I think it looks pretty. I really like it. The one more thing that I want to do is I want to add some dangles over here also, so that I can fix this part. So this part right here, I'm just going to snip off a little bit of chain and add some dangles as well, so that this part is pretty much stronger in my opinion. So that's what I'm gonna do. So for that, what you need, you can stop right here. You can I have these 8 links. This is very helpful. This is in spite of using a jump ring. You can use this. I kind of like this because it's much more safer than a jump ring, and it's a little bit thicker gauge. And I did it, and I then hammered it with my bench block and hammer, so I kind of feel safe. So I add my lobster claw clasp to one of the loop and one loop to the chain, and then I close it like that. And then to the other end of the chain, I do the same. I open up the shorter loop and I add it to the chain. So I'm using here lobster claw clasp and the closed jump ring that I have, but you can as well use the toggle clasp that came with this box. But for this chain and stuff, I like to use lobster claw than the toggle clasp, so that's why I prefer to use this. But it's just my own preference. You can use whichever clasp you have available. And I'm adding this closed jump ring to this to add it to my lobster claw, so it's easier to actually put it on and off. So the necklace is pretty much done. If you wish to have this like this, go ahead and do it, but I like to add some more connections over here. So I will take my wire and do some more connections over here, and I come back. Connection, I'm using 20 gauge para wire, and I just cut a little bit of chain on top of this over here. I just cut these chain into 2, and I just put 2 beads in my wire, made a loop. Then I'm gonna add this short chain into the loop before I close it. I'm doing a wrap loop. If you are not doing a wrap loop, you may as well do a basic loop, and it's easier a little bit to actually put it together. I'm just working with a spool so I don't waste any wire. And then take my beads down, cut it about here, and now I take my pliers, bend it to 90 degrees, make a loop. But before closing this loop, make sure you add it to the next part of the chain and then close and do a wrap loop. The loop doesn't have to be like a lot of wraps. The wraps can be 1 or 2. That's plenty. Tuck it in, and here you have a link. I want these dangles to move freely in the bottom. That's why I created a bigger loops. But if you don't want it, you can create a shorter loop and then have it that way. I feel that this is much more dressier than the plain chain, and it also connects it to the pendant. So this is how I create a link. So I'll create one here randomly on the sides, and then that's how I want to finish this project. This is the last connection that I'm doing with a wrap loop. So I just cut a little bit of chain over here. Then I'm making wrap loop because I kind of feel that's so secured for a beaded chain. But if you don't want to do wrap loops, you can do basic loops as well. Just keep a small trash can or something like that. I just keep this to collect all my wire pieces so that it doesn't fly around, leave on your go down on your carpet or on your floor and then hurt yourself eventually. So it saves you a lot of trouble. So that's about it. I am done with my necklace. I hope you guys like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification. I do upload videos almost every day. It comes around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks so much for watching. And this is the design. You can actually add, like I was thinking about it when I was wearing this necklace, you can actually add more dangles up till here. It's totally up to you, and you can do variations in this, so no two pieces will be the same. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.